G'day warbanders, and welcome back to another video on Emperor of the Fading Suns. Now, I've recently covered this game on the channel a while back in a Let's Play, but I kind of stopped that because, you know, this game really shines in multiplayer. But first, I'll get this out of the way and say what this game actually is. Emperor of the Fading Suns is a grand strategy game mixed with war game. So if you ever play like Shadow Empire, it's like a mix of paradox games and like, you know, war game elements. And this is just a strategic view of the galaxy or map of the galaxy. This is a smaller version because I'm playing a multiplayer game and we want to get to the action quicker. So, you know, everyone else is playing single player and that's totally fine. But I think one of the main flaws, if you're going to get this game, is it's a very multiplayer game. Okay, because if you try and play with an AI, it's not the same because an AI can't really do diplomacy. But you can, you know, go here and pretend this is an AI opponent. You can like suggest things, but it's very like you don't know how they're going to react. With humans, you can sort of barter in a Discord or something like that. You can talk to them, you know, like a real person. And you know, I got an interesting multiplayer game here. If you guys want to see more of this game in a multiplayer fashion, please leave a comment and tell me if you want to see more of this game. But this is more of a showcase, a more comprehensive showcase. And you can see here that there's about 5 factions, including me. I'm playing Lee Halan, which is I liked them because they have a purple color, and also because they have a hot chick as one of their leaders. But you know, the whole game's about trying to become the emperor of this, you know, world, I suppose. And you can do that in multiple ways. The main way is just politicking. You know, people will vote for you. But you can also take this sort of resource in the game called scepters. So scepters allow you to vote in this regent system or this politics system. And if you can take those scepters by politicking or by war. So you could launch like surgical strikes and take some scepters, or you can wipe players out if you want. But you know, there's other threats in the game, not just players. So this Stigmata region faction here, this is actually a planet in the game where there's aliens like Tyranids coming out, and you know, you have to stop them, right? This planet here. So if you don't have a strong garrison here, like the garrison commander should have, the aliens can get out of control and they can sort of rampage across the galaxy if they're not left in check. So that's sort of like a job that a player does. So there's like some like role playing in the game or jobs that people have to do, like in a real sort of politic setting. And you also have the spy people, the spy faction that has, or the spy position where there's like a spy fortress on each house planet to keep an eye on them. But I don't really see a job for this faction to do. People just use it for like their own ends. So it's really just like a power position that, like, if you're feeling nice, you give to somebody. And also the Imperial Fleet, which hopefully they use for good and attack the symbiotes or the Tyranid faction that's massing up in Stigmata. But interesting in this game is the aliens have sort of got out of control. I've lost like a big chunk of my fleet. They're not here at the moment, but they moved on, luckily. But I only have a transport left and a couple of other stuff as well. And also the Steam version recently came out and it sort of made the game a bit more smoother, which I like. And you know, there's a whole like city development system where you can build roads like this, and you got different cities. These cities give you tax income. Each building makes their own stuff. So you have the factory, which builds units like engineers, missile launchers, scout tanks. There's a whole range of units that all have to work together to, you know, do damage. But right now I don't have like a lot of tech because I'm focusing on trying to rebuild my space navy, because there's no point in me building an army if I don't have a space navy. I was told in the Discord that, you know, having space fighters is a good bet because you can spam them out and, you know, they're cheap and you know, they're just way more cheaper to produce. So I'm focusing on trying to build up my space fighters. And I'll have to be really quick about that because everyone else is more powerful than me. You can see that I'm the second weakest faction on the board right now. I think Domeric, let me pull him up if he's on here. Yeah, Domeric, he's a real player. And he's sort of getting out of control right now. No one's declared war on each other yet because, you know, we all want to play nice. But, you know, he has a lot of cities right now. I don't know how. Like, I'm pumping out engineers left, right, and center, and I'm still behind. At least I'm like second, you know, in place, I guess. Like the second, I don't know, maybe the blue player's beating me, I don't know. And you can see that he has the highest tech, he has a lot of money. He actually has a scepter, which I don't know where he's got that from. And he has a couple more units, not too much though. And you can see here that we have a tax system, so I can tax the people if I want to. You obviously want to keep this down because if you piss people off, it affects the, yeah, if you click on something, it does that. But yeah, if you don't like keep your people happy, these buildings won't work essentially. So it's advisable to keep your tax rate low unless you're really hurting for cash. But I've never like hurt for cash in this game. Like, you know, if you're running out of cash, just sell off your resources to this, you know, merchant faction, which is the AI player. And this is another interesting part of the game as well, is that there's NPC factions. If I can just pull them up, where are they? So you have the League and you have the Church. The Church sort of is this annoying faction that sort of like stops you from researching stuff, but they actually have their own vote. I don't know too much about this sub-faction, but they have scepters and they can also vote for an emperor. So you can actually get them on your side. I wish you could actually play as them as a player, but you can see here that you get their votes. You can prescribe text and unprescribed text, so you can sort of strategically, if you're happy with them, ban certain texts. If you don't follow their rules, they're gonna come burn your shit down, which I don't want to. I don't want to have that. And then you have the Merchant Guild or the Spacing Guild from Dune, 5 scepters, and they have this war chest. So the more you trade with them, the more powerful they get. And if you give them tons of money, they could actually rebel and make their own faction. So yes, while it's good to trade with them to get certain resources, you're actually helping them get more powerful, and then you're going to unleash another problem on the galaxy. So you got to be careful about that. And we can also go to where the Emperor homeworld is, Byzantium. And you can see this is where we all vote. You have to have a noble here to vote. So there's another strategy in the game where you can sort of snipe nobles, because you have 6 of these dudes. And if you don't have one on the planet, you can't vote for regents, or positions. So, but like, if you lose 6 of these dudes, it's game over. So you can actually win the game by like not just being a massive powerhouse, right? You can sort of like surgically strike the nobility, and then game over. You're dead. So the game has a lot of like mechanics where you like comeback mechanics. It's not all just about map painting, like, and also, sure, I might be one of the weakest factions right now, but I can sort of, do some guerrilla warfare. If I get attacked right now, which is really improbable right now because everyone's playing nice right now, everyone's sort of building up in this Cold War phase. I could just hide out in the corners of the map and like with some troops and cities. I can move troops around, and there's an intel mechanic. So this is why these recon tanks are really important, because you could spot enemy units. So the recon mechanic makes guerrilla warfare possible. I really like that element. But yeah, the whole crucial thing, another thing as well, is having a space navy, which I don't have right now. I have like a couple of space fighters, and that's it, because I lost a big chunk of my fleet, as I said before, I think, to the symbiotes, because they're out of control right now. There's actually a symbiote fleet somewhere, but I don't know where. And what else is there? And there's a whole like robust diplomacy system. I'm playing a multiplayer game, so it doesn't really matter like in that sense, because I can just talk to them on Discord. But you know, I can, you know, make an alliance, give planet maps, money, technology, make an offer like, oh, give me this and I'll give you this. Like, that's pretty cool to me. And again, you know, this is a multiplayer game. Don't play this game expecting like a really smart AI, because I just don't think that AI is that smart. If I'm playing this game, I'm always playing a multiplayer match, because, you know, playing with humans is just way better in this game, because you can actually see the poll ticking unfold, and, you know, you get feature favor and all that. What else can we talk about? Yeah, we also have the research. So you can see there's a lot of content in the game. You can research lots of things. You see here bulk haulers, assault ships, torpedo bombers, dreadnoughts, cruisers, lots of units in the game. And, you know, I don't have a... Check out my previous videos where I'm showing off planetary invasions. But yeah, like a whole thing of the game that no other game has really is, you know, the merge of like space combat and land combat. There's also naval combat as well if you get on like a sea planet. So if you want to invade a planet, you got to have the logistics or the transports to get there. And say if I want to invade this close planet here, you know, I'd have to get a bunch of transports. I'd have to secure a city or a landing spot. I might want to go here because it's a central spot, and you slowly take over the planet if you have air superiority in space. Because if you don't have air superiority in space, you can't really launch invasions. So that's why I'm trying to build up my space fighters, because it's like, yeah, I could have this massive land army, but, you know, if I get, you know, attacked by a huge space fleet and they start just bombarding my planet, like, it's kind of game over. So I'm trying to get there. I've already researched some stuff, and luckily, recently, you could tech trade. So like a lot of the other players, they give me some tech, so I don't have to, you know, scrounge for stuff. And, you know, I think like the most important thing in this game is spamming out labs, because, like, you know, you get faster research if you spam out labs. And spamming out engineers, really important. Spam out engineers like crazy, because you build more cities. Because eventually you want this whole planet built with cities. And this whole like resource collection, like you build mines, you build like, you know, wells. Also these ruins here. Ruins are like, you know, NPC sort of things where you can like get some goodies out of them if you attack them, because there's usually like some bad things in there. But yeah, you want to like fully exploit a planet to its fullest potential. So you send out engineers and build roads and stuff like that. And yeah, it's basically, this game is 40k on steroids. As I said before, my previous videos, you know, I really like the feel, the immersion, the grim darkness of it all. Without the sort of music, the graphics, and, you know, the lore, I would feel like it would feel like a subpar game, I suppose, a little bit, because without all this, you know, immersion, you know, I think it'd still be playable without all this, you know, immersive features, but it just really enhances the game, in my opinion. And this is my like planet I took over recently. I'm still trying to tame it. As you can see here, I have a couple of cities on my control. I've importantly taken over the palace. I have a weak garrison here because I need my land forces somewhere else. So yes, I've taken over the planet, but it's not fully developed. It's a pretty like a backwater planet I've taken over. As you can see, there's barely any cities on this map. As you can see, I got like 1, 2, 3, 4 cities. But I have to bring over engineers and develop this place, because if I don't develop it, I won't get anything out of it. Okay, so there's a whole logistical system. And then, you know, we have an option turned on that you have to, like, each planet, if you don't have food and like other things like metals, you can't build units. You know, you can't, you have to have the resources actually on the planet. That's a rule. You can have a rule called universal warehouse, where you don't need to have resources on a planet to build stuff. But I feel like the turning off universal warehouse, you know, it adds a logistical element to the game. We have to actually ferry resources between planets. It adds to the micromanagement, but it adds more depth because you can sort of blockade planets and sort of starve them out, I suppose, of crucial, you know, war resources. But yeah, that's Emperor of the Fading Suns in a nutshell. Again, a lot of YouTubers are covering this game. I don't know why. I was one of the first to cover it a couple of months ago, or you know, one of the first. And I guess it's because the Steam releases come out. But yeah, I thought I'd just put my 2 cents in and say this is an amazing game. Really well designed for the 90s. Like, this is a 90s game and it still holds up amazingly. Has lots of influences from Dune and 40k. It's just a crunchy game, and I recommend it to anybody who's into war games or multiplayer, because it's amazing. Again, the only flaw, my final sort of take, is that this is an amazing multiplayer game. Amazing. But if you're playing a single player, it's kind of boring. I'll say that. Boring. That's why I stopped my Let's Play, because the single player is kind of boring. But yeah, guys, if you like this type of video, you like this sort of game, please like and subscribe and give a comment if you want to see more of this game. I like to test out videos, see what's popular. But yeah, if you want to see more multiplayer action right now, I can jump straight in and show you some. I'll show you a campaign, you know, like in a campaign format. But yeah, guys, I'll see you later, and get this game. Amazing game. One of my favorites. But yeah, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.